Hey, what's up, YouTube? Adam here, coming to you with my entry into the Doom-Deez 200 subscriber contest entry. Um, these guys are putting on one awesome contest for their 200 subscribers. I think actually now they're both closer to 300. But if you guys aren't watching these videos, go check out their channel. These guys put on some great videos. They show some wonderful comic books. Really great members of the community, and they are putting on one outstanding contest where they are being super duper generous and giving away some sick prizes. So just want to encourage everybody to go check out their channels, see what they've got going on. Some really good content there, some really good dudes. So go out and support the community if you're not subbed to their channels already. Let's see what else. I got my list here to make sure I get everything. I do want to give a couple shout outs to some other people's channels. I've mentioned some of these before. Actually, one quick note, just to mention it again, these are being posted under Comically Flawed. I used to post under Iculus, but I recently changed my channel, so if anybody's confused. So if you were subbed to Iculus before, come on over to the Comically Flawed channel. That's where I'm posting my stuff now. Want to give shout outs to Exile State Comics, JLS Comics, Strictly Comics, Comics and Stuff, Buckshot 33. Those guys put on some great videos every week and some great live shows. Really enjoyed it. Also give a shout to Blackpole and JT. They got great channels and they've started up a new live show, the Comic Board. They put out a live show once a week talking about their favorite books of the week. Some really great in-depth info there. Unfortunately, I can't watch that one live, but I do catch it after the fact. Also, Alex the Comic Order, he's got some really cool variants and shows some really awesome books on his channel. Trying to think who else. That's a good start. So anyway, just want to give a shout out to those folks. So anyway, adhering to the contest rules, I am 18. So that one's taken care of. Let's see here. First up, we've got Freddy's 562's questions. So his first question was, what is your hardest book to find? Unfortunately, my hardest book to find has still not been found. I am a Peanuts fan. I love Snoopy. Really loved Snoopy growing up as a kid. My grandparents had a beagle named Snoopy. So he's always been one of my lifelong favorite characters. There is a Peanuts series. It's the original Dell series that runs from basically 1960 through 1962. There were the first 3 issues, I think, are under the Dell 4-color, but they basically say Peanuts on them. And those were back in early 50s, maybe like 53, 54, somewhere in there. But most of the books run 1960 through 1962. It's 13 issues. Pardon me. And the hardest book I am looking for and have not found is Peanuts number 7. Man, I thought I had this book tracked down. And it's basically a white cover with Snoopy and Charlie Brown sledding down a mountain. And Snoopy's ears are kind of twirling behind his head like a propeller, pushing him down the mountain. I thought I had this book. I found it on a seller's auction site and put in the max, just the buy it now price, more than I wanted to pay, but thought I had it nailed. And about a week went by and he emailed me to inform me that it was an old listing that hadn't been pulled off his site, and the book was unavailable. So that's a bummer. And I haven't really been able to track down another copy since. So that one is the hardest book for me to find, and the hunt continues. So I've got another one of the Peanuts books up here that I have tracked down. This is number 13 in a CGC 8.5 slab. And I've got probably, I don't know, 6 out of the 13, so about halfway there. But anyway, which leads me into my next Freddy's 562's next question, which is, what do you think about slabs? I know this is a hot topic. Some people love them, some people hate them. Personally, for me, I like slabs. I don't think every book should be slabbed, but I've got no problem with them for a couple of reasons. One, I think for books that either are super valuable or that are meaningful to you, and the meaningful to you, it doesn't have to be a super valuable book. It can be meaningful to you because somebody gave it to you, because you like the cover art, whatever. I think those books deserve to be in slabs simply for a couple reasons. One, I think they present really well. Two, I put all my books in 2mm Mylar and fullbacks, which protects them really well, and you can handle them not rough, but they're fairly sturdy and well protected. But at the same time, you do have to be aware of how you handle them. Whereas with a slab, I'm not going to throw this thing against the wall or anything, but I can pick it up, I can turn it around and look at it, enjoy it, whatever, and not really worried about damaging it. So that's the main reason, or one of the reasons I like them. Two, I think they just look great. Also, another reason is because I am still very new with the grading thing. And I know the grade on the slab isn't always perfect. This one, let's see if it shows up. I'm not sure how high this camera is. We'll see. This one's in an 8.5, but it gives me an idea. I can look at what a third-party grader said and then kind of match it up with the damage I see and say, okay, that gives me an idea of what an 8.5 is, or what a 7 is, or a 9.8 is. I've bought a couple of modern books in 9.8. Just so I can say, and 9.6, so I can say, okay, what is a 9.8 and what is a 9.6? How can I really tell the difference? And when I'm buying older stuff, I may not be fully confident in the grade. So, a slab gives me a little bit of confidence in what I'm buying. So I like slabs. I'm not gonna have not have everything in one. It's way too expensive. But I really do enjoy them, and that'll give me a chance to show a couple of these other slabs here, kind of what I'm talking about. So here's another Peanuts. This is number 6 in an CGC 8.5. I will mention, so none of these are in the bags that CGC or CBCS sends. CBCS bags are a little bit better than CGC, I think. The CGC ones kind of crinkle up after a while and get hard to see through, but even I may have said that backwards. The CGC ones do. The CBCS ones are better, but I actually found through eGerber sells these Mylar bags made for slabs. Now, I will give you one note about this, is they are too big. As far as you can see, there's a little bit of space on the sides here, and then the flap on the back, this is going to be impossible to show, but you actually have to, the opening is actually right here. You have to fold over, not just the flap, but part of the bag itself, so it doesn't really bend over perfectly, just because they're a little too tall. I think there may be another company out there that makes bags that fit these slabs a little bit better, but I've got 25 of these to use up and haven't yet. But I think the Mylar just presents really clean, so this is what I'm using for now. Let's see what else we got, just to show a couple more. This is an example of kind of, I would not feel comfortable grading this book my own at the current state of my collecting life. I really enjoy some of the old Atlas war comics, Battlefront, Combat. So, a lot of these books are in much lower grades, 4s, 2s, 3s, different things like that. This is actually a CBCS 6.0. I don't know if it's really a 6.0. I've got some questions about I don't know if that shows real well, about the spine. There's a couple of tears on there. It looks like the cover's still attached. I don't know. I didn't send this book in. But there's definitely some spine wear, off-white to white pages. So, but again, buying this book raw, honestly, I don't know if I'd feel comfortable enough saying it's a 4 or it's a 6 or it's a 6.5, and that can drastically affect the purchase price. So buying it in a slab and kind of having that reference point, while it may not be the end-all be-all grade, it gives me a starting point of, okay, at least some expert thinks that's the grade. So I think that's a bonus as well. Plus, again, this book, I would be kind of worried about doing stuff like this with this book. Whereas being in the slab, I can take it out, I can show it to somebody, I can let them handle it, and I'm not too worried about it. I will say I am more partial to CBCS slabs just because the time I got into the slab or bought my first slab was right about the time CGC may or may not been having some problems with their cases. Actually, I have a book in one of those cases that looks like it's starting to warp a little bit, so I think I'm going to have to send that in to get re-slabbed. But anyway, so for that reason, I'm just a little more partial to CBCS. And then I'll show one more book that I got recently, and this will lead me into the Doom 143's questions. This is Spawn. I'm not sure if the window's not lit up here, so I'm not sure if I'm getting this whole book in here. Spawn number 1 in a 9.8. And so the Doom 143's question was, talk about an artist that you gravitate towards and show 5 comics from that artist. So I've actually got 2 artists that I want to talk about. I kind of wanted to do J. Scott Campbell because I really love his art. I love looking at pictures of it. But unfortunately, I don't have a lot of J. Scott Campbell books to show. A lot of them, command a pretty hefty price. Especially some of the Spider-Man covers. The Spider-Man cover with Spidey hanging outside and Mary Jane sitting on the couch is just awesome. But that book is ludicrous in price. One day I'll get it, but it's just not in the cards right at the moment. I love the Danger Girl covers. Trying to think what else he's done. Mostly Spider-Man variants is a lot of what I've seen of his. But I didn't want to go with that. I wanted to show a couple others that I had more books to display. And these are not going to be any big surprise. They're not any secret artists that nobody's ever heard of before. The first one is Todd McFarlane. And I picked Todd McFarlane just because when I first started collecting in comics back in the late 80s, early 90s, when Spawn came out, or when McFarlane's run on his own Spider-Man book started, and then Spawn, I hadn't really seen art quite like that before, especially with respect to Spawn. And it really changed, I've mentioned this before, kind of changed my understanding of what a comic book and comic book art could be, just with the realism and the color. Maybe realism isn't the right word, but excuse me just a second. So gotta wet the whistle. But yeah, I really just appreciate his art, and it kind of opened up new doors for me for comic book art. So definitely have to give some props to McFarlane. Obviously, he's kind of a rock star in the comic community. So to show 5 books from him, there we go. There's one. I also grabbed just a few other Spawn books that I've gotten recently. That's number 10. That's probably not one of my more favorite covers, but it's one of the first ones I came to when I was putting these together. This cover, though, on the other hand, is ridiculous. Spawn number 2. Spawn number 3. And then this is when, I guess, McFarlane dropped off the book for quite a while. Some other people took over. And then in the early or the mid 200s, I guess, he took back over doing a lot of the covers. And then there's a run with him and, drawing a complete blank, from Savage Dragon, Larson, where they went back and started doing the book again. But this is one of the Spawn covers from recently, 233. Just, I don't know, just awesome covers and colors and an awesome look to it. And then here's one of the classic books that he's known for. Pardon me, fellas. It's not ASM 300, just in case you're wondering. I don't have that one. But Spider-Man #1 sold 8 bajillion copies. But yeah, I think that's just kind of a classic piece of art, and it's been cover swiped a million times. So actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's kind of sort of a swipe right there. Actually, I guess you're allowed to swipe your own art with no repercussions. So, but then the other artist that I wanted to show is another super popular artist that I know a lot of people like, and that is Michael Turner. And mostly what I have of Turner is not any of his DC stuff, but is Fathom. His Witchblade covers and Soulfire covers are also very cool, but most of what I have is Fathom, and the way Michael Turner draws women, but also just the coolness of the background. They're just all in all just beautiful works of art all the way around. So it's a shame that he's not around to give us any more books, but I'm glad that Aspen is still going strong and pulls out some of his art from time to time and puts it on still puts it on covers of books. So let's see, we got Fathom #10. That's the Dynamic Forces variant. We've got #0. That's the Wizard Zero. That's not much of a comic book, actually. It's only I just got that one. It's super thin. I haven't flipped through it, but it can't be very many pages. But the art on the cover is absolutely spectacular. Let's see. All these are from the first run. #3. There are a couple more runs of Fathom later on, but I'm not sure with those. Some of them have Turner art on the cover, some of them don't. The people who have filled in and carried on with that book have done an awesome job, but you can definitely tell a little bit of the difference in the art. So here we have #4. Super cool cover. Let's see. Got #2. Beautifully done there. Apparently we have another copy of #3, so I don't think there's any reason to show that one. And then the last one I wanted to show was #12, which is just spectacular. There are actually 2 covers of this one. This one has Witchblade in the background, and the other one has Tomb Raider in the back, or Lara Croft, I guess. But that other cover is not Turner. I cannot remember the name of the guy who did that one. So anyway, those are the books I wanted to show. Like I say, I just really dig on Michael Turner and McFarlane, and like I say, I'd love to get some J. Scott Campbell and hopefully fill in some of those runs down the road, especially the Danger Girl stuff. Some of the high dollar ASM books and ASM variants will probably have to hold out for a little bit, but hey, one of these days, right? So anyway, that'll wrap it up. I just want to thank you to Freddy's 562 and the Doom 143 again so much for this contest. The prizes that you guys are giving out are really just above and beyond. You're wonderful, valuable parts of this community. Really enjoy your videos, and just can't thank you guys enough for running this contest and putting out the content that you do. So take care, guys. Hope you had a wonderful holidays, and that'll wrap it up, and I'll talk to you next time. Peace.